Earth with rings would be one of the most beautiful sights in the entire solar system. If our planet had a ring system like Saturn's, life on Earth would not only look different, but also feel different in many ways. These glowing bands of ice and rock stretching across the sky would affect culture, science, weather, and even how people live their daily lives. The rings would be made of countless pieces of ice, dust, and rock, ranging in size from tiny grains to massive boulders. They would orbit Earth in a thin, flat plane around the equator. From space, Earth would look stunning, with bright white and silvery rings circling it like a crown. But the most breathtaking view would be from the ground. In some parts of the world, especially near the equator, the rings would appear as huge, bright arcs stretching from one horizon to the other. They would be much larger and clearer than the moon, visible day and night. During the day, the sunlight reflecting off the icy particles would create glowing bands across the blue sky. At night, the rings would shine like a giant natural light source, filling the darkness with a soft glow. Stars might be harder to see near the rings, but the view would be unforgettable. The presence of rings would affect cultures and history in powerful ways. Ancient civilizations would likely build myths and religions around them. Instead of worshiping the sun or the moon alone, people might also see the rings as divine or mystical symbols. Temples and monuments could be aligned not just with stars, but with specific points on the rings. Art, music, and literature would constantly reflect their beauty. People might even track time or seasons using ring patterns, just as they once used the stars. Science and exploration would develop differently, too. With something so striking in the sky, early astronomers would spend centuries studying the rings. Questions about their shape, movement, and origin would push people to develop better tools to observe space. Telescopes and space programs might have been invented sooner because of humanity's curiosity about the rings above. The rings would also change the way sunlight reaches Earth, depending on their size and thickness. They could cast shadows on the planet, especially near the equator. Some areas might experience dimmer sunlight during parts of the day, affecting temperature and weather patterns. The shadow of the rings could create cooler zones, change rainfall, or even affect how crops grow. Climate patterns might be different from what we know today. Satellites and space travel would face new challenges. The ring particles would create a dangerous zone around Earth, making it harder to launch rockets or place satellites in certain orbits. Space stations might need to be built above or below the ring system. Traveling through the rings would require careful navigation to avoid collisions with rocks and ice. At the same time, the rings could offer new scientific opportunities, as they would be close enough to study directly. Nighttime on Earth would also be transformed. With the rings shining brightly in the sky, cities might rely less on artificial light. The rings would act like a natural night lamp, glowing softly and casting long shadows. In some places, people could walk at night without needing streetlights. Festivals and traditions might develop around ring nights, where the sky looks especially bright or colorful depending on how the sunlight hits the particles. The rings could even affect communication systems. The particles in the rings might reflect or block radio signals, forcing humans to develop special technologies to maintain communication. Air travel could also change, as planes flying near the equator might have to consider the shadow effects or avoid debris falling from the rings. Over time, human creativity would adapt to this new world. Buildings might be designed to give the best view of the rings. Cities might have ring balconies or special sky towers for people to enjoy the scenery. Photographers and artists would constantly be inspired by the glowing arcs above. The rings would become a part of human identity, just like mountains, oceans, and the moon. The question of how the rings formed would fascinate scientists forever. Some might believe they came from a shattered moon or a giant asteroid. Others might think they're leftovers from Earth's early formation. Studying the rings could teach humans more about the planet's history and even about the formation of other worlds. In the long run, Earth with rings would be a planet where science, culture, and daily life are deeply connected to the sky. The rings would remind people every day that they live on a unique and extraordinary world. Their presence would shape human stories, inspire discoveries, and make Earth even more beautiful than it already is. A ringed Earth would not just look different, it would change the rhythm of life itself. From ancient myths to modern technology, the rings would leave their mark on every part of human history, shining above as a constant and breathtaking companion.